Good afternoon, Musketeers. It's April 12th, 2019. I'm Marta Berglund.
And I'm Lucas Robbins. This is Xavier News.
From the Xavier University Television Studio, this is Xavier News. Your campus, your region, your world. This is Xavier News.
Republican Governor Mike DeWine has signed a bill banning any abortion once a fetal heartbeat is detected. The bill cleared its final hurdle of many on Wednesday when the Ohio Senate agreed to House changes with a vote of 18-13. The Ohio House had approved the measure 56-39 earlier in the day. Former Governor John Kasich had said enacting the heartbeat bill would prompt a costly court battle and it would likely be found unconstitutional. The ACLU of Ohio announced on Thursday that it will file a lawsuit challenging the Senate Bill 23 legislation that would ban all abortions in the state of Ohio. Ohio joins 5 other states that have passed restrictive abortion measures. A fetal heartbeat can be detected as early as 5 or 6 weeks into pregnancy, which is before many women find out they are pregnant.
A ballot measure to change Ohio's electoral votes to the presidential candidate that wins the national popular vote has been withdrawn this past week. A group called the Ohioans for Making Every Vote Matter said that there wasn't enough time to secure enough signatures to put the measure on the November ballot. This proposal would have given the state of Ohio's electoral votes to whoever won the national popular vote, not whichever candidate won the most votes in Ohio.
Despite the warm weather we've been experiencing here in Ohio, other states are not as lucky. A major spring storm has been dropping heavy snow in northern states from the Dakotas to Minnesota this week. The storm is expected to make travel a nightmare for hundreds of thousands of people still in its path as it makes its way toward Canada. Blizzard warnings stretch from Colorado to Minnesota, and winter storm warnings and advisories from Utah into Michigan. Drivers, including students headed back home for Easter break, are urged to be cautious. States such as South Dakota are warning people in some counties to stay off the roads completely. The heaviest snow Thursday will fall in western Nebraska, much of South Dakota, and much of Minnesota as the system tracks northeast into Canada. Those areas could get 2 feet of snow by Friday morning, with 30 inches possible in some places.
For campus news, brave peer educators began the Photo Voice Project. This is a campaign on various social media platforms like Instagram that looks to promote consent culture at Xavier University. The campaign involves submitting photos and descriptions on how they support consent culture on campus and that then are posted on the Xavier_Brave account, often with the hashtag #Let'sTalkAboutX. The Photo Voice campaign is part of Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and along with fellow programs like Take Back the Night on April 25th and an Empower workshop on May 1st, look to raise awareness for sexual assault and help promote positive consent culture on campus.
Dozens of airline pilots from vendor airlines for Amazon and DHL rallied at the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Airport to demand higher pay yesterday. The event comes in the middle of stalled contract negotiations, which eventually lead to lower wages and lack of experienced pilots. Mike Griffith has worked for Atlas Air for 20 years. Griffith said that he, along with others, have had enough. He said, quote, "We're not out here protesting our jobs. We all love our jobs. We all love working for Amazon and DHL. But we need for our families the pay and the benefits that are associated for work in this industry." End quote. Pilots say the stalled negotiations have been going on for years, and it is time for a change.
And that's all for the news desk, people.
We'll be right back with Paul Fritchner and the Xavier Sports Report.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be back with you today for the Xavier Sports Report. We'll get things started quickly on the baseball diamond, where the Musketeers kicked off conference play with 3 games against the Georgetown Hoyas last weekend. Xavier took a decisive 7-4 victory on Friday afternoon in Game 1 and swept Saturday's doubleheader. They took the first game 9-4 and the second game 1-0. Sophomore Connor Grammis turned up the heat on the mound in the second game of the doubleheader as he hurled 16 strikeouts. That was the most by a Xavier pitcher since the 1990s, and it was the second most in Division I this season. Fellow sophomore Aubrey Major delivered a walk-off double in the bottom of the 9th inning as Grammis scampered all the way home from first base to put Xavier at the top of the Big East standings after Week 1. Now, you may think to yourself that there's a lot of season left, and there is, but here's why those conference wins are so big. Only 7 of the 10 Big East schools have a baseball team, and only the top 4 make it into the Big East tournament. Each team plays 18 conference games with 1 3-game series against every other team. Now, over the first 5 seasons since conference realignment, the average number of wins that the 4th place team has entered the tournament with is 8, and Xavier's nearly halfway there already. The team is in Queens, New York this weekend for a series against the St. John's Red Storm. Gets started tonight. The other big story around Xavier Athletics recently is the incredible success of the women's tennis team. They've now won 17 matches in a row. Since they started the spring season 2-2 and lost their second match on February 1st, the ladies have rattled off 17 straight victories. Their latest was a thrilling 4-3 triumph over the Bearcats of Cincinnati this past Sunday. Now, there's only one more match in the regular season, and the Musketeers can put a bow on a spectacular regular season campaign with a win against the Butler Bulldogs and a match that'll actually get started a few minutes from now at 3 o'clock at the top of the hour. And after that, they'll turn their attention to the Big East Championship, which is next weekend in South Carolina. Quick men's basketball update. As expected, Tyreek Jones, Quentin Gooden, Paul Scruggs, and Najee Marshall all put their name in the NBA draft this week, but they are entering without an agent, and it is more than likely that all 4 will return and play for the Musketeers in the fall. Because of the new draft rules, though, this lets them gather important information for the betterment of their careers, and it lets them know where they need to focus their improvement as they look toward next season. And it's that time of the week, Musketeers. It's time for Fritchner's Friday Fun Facts. And with Major League Baseball kicking off their season a couple of weeks ago, I thought I'd share a fun fact about our national pastime. You may be familiar with the famous pitcher Gaylord Perry, who won 2 Cy Young Awards, 314 games, and recorded 3,534 strikeouts over his illustrious 22-year career. Now, he played before the designated hitter was instituted, so he had more opportunities to bat than many modern pitchers, but he struggled with the stick. During the 1964 season, his manager Alvin Dark was quoted as saying, "Mark my words, a man will land on the moon before Gaylord Perry hits a home run." Well, 5 seasons later, on July 20th, 1969, Apollo 11 touched down on the moon at 1:17 p.m. Pacific time. And then about 30 minutes later, at Candlestick Park in San Francisco, I think you know what's coming, Perry came to the plate and took one over the fence, tallying the first home run of his career. So, now you know. Enjoy the weekend, Musketeers. We'll see you right back here from the studio next week. Let's go X.